3-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins, fires. A perfect game! Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia.
Line drive, right center field, base hit.
Ground ball over the mound. Waiting for it. Muncy, he booted it. One runner's in. Here comes Swing, the throw. Save! Harper hits one in the air. Left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. Fastball hit to left. It is long gone. And Hamels with a 3-2 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep center field. Herrera back on the track. And did he make the catch? He fell down and he's got
Here's the strike by Robinson. The 3-0 pitch. Swing and long drive. There it is. Number 500. The career 500th home run.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bella Smashers podcast, episode 29. I'm your co-host, Kylie.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Haley.
And that is also Stella.
Green.
Oh, yeah. We have 4 hosts now, guys.
We do need a Stella cam, I feel like.
Do.
We really do. Like, she is actually, I think, like, obsessed with being on camera. She takes after her mom.
I love it. Before we get to before we get to what a great baseball week this was for us, we are brought to you by Fired Up Sports and Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and use code BELLSMASH for 20% off and free shipping. They have hair care for literally everywhere, and they got you covered for everything, even chapstick. So there you go.
Some last minute Father's Day gifts. It's your last chance.
Yeah, exactly. And so now let's get started. So we are recording on Thursday, which is right after we beat the Arizona Diamondbacks in a series, 3-4 series or 3-1. And the final score of today's game was 5-4. So first Arizona series win in Arizona since 2016.
Finally won something at Chase Field. That
Finally.
terrible stadium with the swimming pool and weird dimensions.
This is now 4 series in a row that the Philadelphia Phillies have won.
Is it 4?
4.
Wow.
Yep. And,
Right after we complained about them for an hour.
It works.
Guys, anybody even listening? The Philadelphia Phillies are above 500. Let that sink in.
Finally.
A team that I even said this is not going to be a team that makes it to the postseason. A team that a lot of people had doubt, and I still have doubt, don't get me wrong, especially with Aaron Nola. But this team right now, they're coming alive. And I don't know what it is about June, and I will never understand this about Kyle Schwarber.
No.
But put him at leadoff, have it always be June, and the balls will be flying.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
There needs to be a scientific study on this because
I think it's just, it can't be explained. It's just a thing that happens. It's great.
It just doesn't make sense. And there's just so many things about this baseball team that I'm liking. How about Castellanos? Little
unreal.
Like, how? Like, now there is another player that I don't think we mentioned within this first couple of minutes. And it's a player that I honestly think is having his MVP season. Even though he's not going to be an MVP. But it is Mr. Ranger Danger Suarez. unbelievable. His pitching is perfect. Now, I am the best show ever today proposed a question on 97.5 The Fanatic, and we talked about this too in our group chat. Is Ranger the second guy instead of Nola? Behind Wheeler, of course, but is that our now number 2 guy?
In my opinion, yes.
I was just going to say that. Yes, I will say that without a doubt. Nola has had enough time to get his stuff together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they talk about it on the broadcast, like something is off, or like a combination of things. Either today they were saying either like tipping pitches, but also just not having the mechanics together, not being able to go deep, or always giving up the lead. Always giving up the lead in like the 3rd inning.
Yeah, it's always the 3rd or 4th inning. And I mean, they did come back and they did look great. Everybody hit in the lineup again. So that's great to see. You know, Castellanos just keeps hitting. Stott, Harper did, everybody's hitting finally.
JT, yeah.
Marshy.
Yeah. Marshy's been struggling, so thankfully he seems to be getting better.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how June is just a completely different universe for this team.
It's so weird. It's not even just Kyle at this point. It's literally everybody.
It's the whole team. Even Topper getting fired up the other day.
Oh,
yeah, like
amazing. That's what we were saying. We were like, show some passion.
Which, can we talk about them getting them clearing the benches and the Arizona manager getting ejected in the first game?
And then even JT was trying to interfere a little bit.
Yeah, like
because that was literally not intentional at all. Like
no. Strong would never.
I understand. See, like I'm telling you, like she's now even fired up.
She agrees with us.
Thank you, Stella. Oh my gosh. Welcome to podcasting.
Right.
But another thing though that I like when I'm seeing with this team is that it also seems like their defense has stepped up. It's not even just the offense, it's not even just the hitting. It seems their defense, they've been putting in a lot of work. And on the broadcast, I believe it was T-Mac that said this. Now, if it wasn't him, if it was Ruben or somebody else, I don't want to obviously not give them credit. But they've been working a lot with the coaches when it comes to the outfield lately. So I know Castellanos has been putting in work, Schwarber, but their coaching staff has really stepped up. And maybe it was because they had a rough couple months and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, we cannot continue on this way. What can we do to improve? And they were making those adjustments.
Yeah, and they brought back Dancing on My Own. And I know we all 3 of us agree that it's just kind of like, it brings back the pain of losing the World Series. And I think most people agree with us on this.
Mm-hmm.
They have been winning since they brought it back, but I don't know how I feel about them bringing it back.
Someone replied to us that it's like whatever brings up their vibes. I mean, which is, I guess, true. If it's apparently working, but yeah, it's right. Stubby had said like, yeah, we said it was a second place song, but we brought it back because second place out of all the teams in the league is pretty great
compared to what they are doing now. Yeah, I guess.
I think he said like we were sucking, so what else were we gonna do?
I have mixed feelings actually.
Yeah, me too.
So Castellanos broke the news on 97.5 The Fanatic. Look at my
shout out Casti.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I'm like, what? 97.5 The Fanatic.
Shout out 97.5.
Yeah,
shout out work. It's so weird because I'm like, I literally feel like I live there, so it's kind of like funny. But okay. So he said that. My initial reaction was annoyed. I listened to that song and it just breaks my heart because we had a storybook season, especially the postseason, and the way that it ended was brutal. I think that for me mentally, I block everything out after that game 5 of the NLCS.
Me
Because
too.
it's too painful. Now, today, I actually put a tweet out on my Twitter account, and I said, I'm blasting Dancing on My Own.
I didn't
After
see
they
that
won.
one.
Yeah, well, the reason why I said it, the way I look at it is this. If the players feel, like they can get their mojo back and their spark back, because a lot of the guys that we have on the current roster were part of last year's team. It's not like they got a whole, they didn't do the whole rebuilding, any of that. So if it makes them feel better, then I'm for it, and I want to support them. My feelings, it's because I'm a fan. It's because the pain that I felt was a pain from a fan. Maybe this song will put them in that mindset of, the last time we were blasting this song in Philly was when we clinched the NLCS and went to the World Series. Like, there's different things, and maybe it's okay for them to be in La La Land and to believe that this will help them get back to where they were last year. Now, any way this season ends, I'm going to be disappointed because, and I hate to be a negative person, I don't think they're going to win the World Series. I don't think they're going to get that far this year. Oh my
Stella
God.
begs to differ.
I think Stella begs to differ on that one.
She pounced on it.
That's
As soon
hilarious.
as I said that, and she wasn't even on my bed, she just jumped up and
We'll save this clip just in case.
I don't even know where she went. Like Stella, she's hiding under. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, guys. I feel like she's just been interrupting so many of my topics.
She has her opinions.
And maybe it's okay. She believes. But
Yeah.
she was also in my bed with me when the Phillies lost in the World Series. And she was with me while I was literally crying while staring at my wall, blasting Dancing on My Own, the slow version. It was the most depressing night of my life.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, I not recovered. The point is, whatever makes them feel better, I'm going to support. And that's
Yeah.
what being a fan is.
Mhm.
It's supporting your team. Now, let's just say next season they play this song and they don't do well this postseason.
Then that's gotta go.
Yeah, it's but even the dreams and nightmares, and people forget about this with the Eagles.
Mm.
The season after they won the Super Bowl, they still were playing that song as their hype song because a lot of the same players were on the team. And is it so bad that these guys get back into that mentality? Is it so bad for them to feel like, you know what, we did it once, everyone doubted us, let's go prove them wrong again? But the start of the season, no matter what they do this year, even if they win the World Series, I don't know about you guys, I am not going to say I was pleased with their first half of the season.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
There's
Pathetic.
there's no sugarcoating what they did other than these last 2 weeks. It has been just utter underperformance, and you'd be crazy to not say that.
Yeah. And it's not acceptable. And this is a deeper issue, though, because you have all this talent. You just got back from a phenomenal postseason, and then you're playing what's a bad team? Because the Mariners are actually doing quite well. What's the worst team right now that I can think of? That's
Technically, the Royals are the worst team in the league right now.
I even forgot they existed. Yeah, you're playing Kansas City over here.
Or the
Like,
Cardinals
or the
in the
Pirates.
National League.
Oh, yeah, the
Cardinals, yeah.
Cardinals. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, basically, you're playing like you're irrelevant, and that's how
Yeah.
they've been playing. But now they, screw anybody that says, "Oh, it's just the Diamondbacks." Okay, well, oh, it's just the Dodgers. Wait, it was just the Nationals. You know what? Screw you all, because wins are wins.
Yep.
Wins are bleeping wins.
It's 162 games.
Right, Stella?
I freaking love you, Haley. Now, we asked the question on our Twitter account, what everybody's thoughts were this week, and if they have any comments, questions, early trade ideas, concerns, all of that. And Haley, I know you have to probably go in a second, so I wanted to get this question out of the way because we all want to avoid this question because we love this player so much, and
Really? I don't
I'm
know
gonna
what.
start crying.
everything that we love him. So it's an annoying question that I expected us to get, especially given who we all are and his relationship to us. But everybody's wondering. We got a couple questions like from John Croc, from Derek. Derek 9306. I'm not going to say his actual tag. You guys can see that. But everybody was wondering D Hall and Clemens.
Well,
Now-
Cody with a K can go.
Now, being completely just thinking for the team, it is extremely tough. Now, before I say this, give me a second.
Okay, take your time.
So you have to ride the hot hand. Whatever's working, you have to go with it. If it's winning games, you have to go with it. And right now, Cody Clemens at first is winning you games. He has had walk-offs. He's had good defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's the reason that we even had to have a walk-off. He
That too.
Like,
Well, I
sorry.
mean,
You're not
that's the
wrong.
point. He's not without his own lack of
Right.
mistakes.
So D Hall does have a shot, and we still need depth at that position. Because I swear to God, if I see Bomet first one more time, I'm going to lose it.
I will jump onto the field.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we still need that depth. So him going anywhere at the moment is most likely out of the question. But he does need to, when he comes back up, he does need to start off right away.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, everybody knows how much I love D Hall, and I want him to be the starter for the first base position. I want him to. That's up without question. I want him, and I think he can do it. But he's got to do it right away.
And a lot of people were talking to us too, just knowing that the trade deadline is coming up. And one thing we'll talk about too is this whole fifth starter situation. And if you're looking to trade someone to get a fifth starter, Clemens or Hall would be options in some type of package.
Mm-hmm.
Trade Clemens, not D Hall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think you would have to put a package together. Realistically, take away from how I feel about Derek. Take that away, my personal feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, I don't think we're going to get a lot out of him if you just do him. I think it's definitely a package deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
It sucks because he is such a good player and he is likable. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for the team. And I think he would understand that. But he's also the kind of person, too, that I don't have any doubt that he will come back and prove himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a tough situation because Cody, I cannot stand. I booed him the first time that he was on
Yeah, I remember.
I think he just drags the team down. I really do. And I can't see him benefiting this team in the postseason. And that's how I'm looking at things. If we're in a really tough game, let's go say against the Braves, and, Cody's our guy, he's not going to benefit the team. He's not going to help them win in a clutch situation. Derek Hall, do I feel like he can? I don't know. I can't confidently say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. Like if you said Kyle Schwarber, okay, fine. I feel confident in him. Harper, confident. But there's also those rumors, too, about Harper going to first base.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, I hate to be that person, but where's Derek going to go?
Exactly. That's the thing, too, because they're strongly working out Bryce to go to first. And obviously because it's a lot less of a strain on his elbow.
Yeah.
And the simple fact is we have to get Kyle out of left field.
Exactly.
100%.
Literally losing us multiple games out there.
He needs to be a designated hitter, and that's it.
The problem is the Phillies we have too many players that should be designated hitters.
Well, thankfully, Castellanos can play defense.
Yes.
Now.
Now, listen, Castellanos, everyone's saying MVP. I get that. Trust me, I feel that too. I'm still a little mad at him about last season. I just expected more. But
that being said, we should vote for him to the All-Star game, though.
We should. So make sure you guys vote. The link's probably on the Phillies page. I don't have it. But
MLB, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
baseball, guys. We talk baseball on this podcast at Bell Smashers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's leading the team in batting average. He is, I believe, second in the team with home runs. So he's not, the $100 million guy that we've really, with the 30 home runs almost that we thought we were going to get. But he's still, thankfully, producing at an all-star level.
He's beneficial, and that's how you
Yeah.
have to look at these things. Is it benefiting the team or is it hurting the team? And this season, he's benefiting the team.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Speaking of benefiting, you know what? There's really no good way of me even saying this segue.
Uh-oh.
Many of you guys know that I am now covering multiple hockey teams. And that means that with time zones out in St. Louis, that there's things that I have to attend to without leaving Philadelphia. The best of both. So on that note, I'm going to cut this episode. Well, no, the episode's still going to go on. I'm just not going to be going on with it. Yeah. So Kylie and Jen will take you guys on from here out. And I will be via in St. Louis, I guess. Mizzou.
Misery.
Missouri. Well, the Cardinals are doing really bad.
Yeah.
And it's funny because all the people that, follow the Blues, the Cardinals suck. And I'm just like, that's
Love
how I
it.
feel. I'm like, God, it's what it is, baby.
I am all for the Cardinals' downfall.
It's, I'm enjoying it. I'm sitting back, relaxing. And then I'm like, all right, I love you, St. Louis. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm off to Missouri.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Love you, homie.
Love you.
Love you too, homie. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so I wanted to get that with all three of us because knowing how much he means to all of us, just from coming on this episode and just being such a nice guy.
Yeah, he means a lot to us, especially because he came on our show, obviously, and he's still very supportive of us.
Yeah.
And
we want to make it clear we support him.
Yes.
Absolutely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on us supporting him.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Agreed. So it is hard to be asked that and to think about it. But it makes me think about what Mark said too when he was released, that ultimately, if that were to happen, they understand whenever this happens to anyone, they understand it's a business. Obviously it's not personal. It's just something that has to be done. So
yeah. And I've been avoiding talking about that for 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Because I just want to wait and see what happens. We don't know what D-Hall is going to do when he comes back up. So, I mean, he's been doing well in AAA for rehab. So, who knows? Hopefully, it works out for everybody. Obviously, want D-Hall to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
That's
agreed.
That's without question. So we'll see how that goes. We don't know. But whatever happens, we're going to talk about it regardless.
And I also grew up not liking Roger Clemens, and it's just weird that it's his
right.
son. So it's just, I can't, a part of me just really can't get over this. I get it. It was really cool seeing him throw batting practice, especially to Liam. But
it's just weird.
It's weird. It'll never not be weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kimbrel in a Phillies uniform. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody knows how much I loved the Kimbrel signing.
Yes.
And still do, by the way. Still do. So, yeah, we talked about the dancing on my own thoughts, and we've mostly gotten the D-Hall questions. And that's the biggest thing.
It makes sense.
It does make sense, but that's literally like all of our questions. Liv, shout out Liv, said she feels like either Hall or Clemens will be gone by the trade deadline. It's possible.
Yeah.
It is. But and Karahat, if you're listening to this, I'm not gonna respond to your question.
I saw that too.
I'm just, you guys all know what it is. He's just, I'm not responding to that one. And I meant to say, well, Haley was on here. I meant to say that shout out to everybody that sent in their questions for Haley's live special last week. Well, we couldn't be there. Great job, Haley. I meant to say that when she was on here, but we got to talking about the whole situation, so I got distracted. But shout out everybody that did that.
Yes, thank you all so much.
Now, these past 4 games, game 1 we should have won. We should have swept the Diamondbacks, really.
I know.
Like, we really should have swept them. Covey, like, I don't like to slander players that are currently on my team.
But he
But
doesn't belong on the team.
He doesn't. He's not a major league pitcher. And for a team that's really trying to contend, definitely not a pitcher for us.
Right.
And they sent Junior Marte down, who has been, like, at the very least, serviceable. Better than Covey. So,
yeah, it's definitely frustrating when you consistently blow it like that. How many chances can someone get?
Well, you saw Didi and Adubel last year for
I
a
know,
long time, so
I should know better with this team.
It's a new manager, but sometimes
same vibes.
Yeah, sometimes there's that Girardi that kicks in for him. So
yeah,
I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, the biggest thing is we need a starting pitcher. That is the biggest thing. And after that starting pitcher, get a corner outfielder, for the love of God. Make sure we're DH, have him hit dingers, and that's it.
Yep.
Because we all love Schwarber, but that defense, man.
You know what? And part of the reasons why we were winning in Arizona is because the Diamondbacks seemed to catch whatever was ailing the Phillies defensively.
Yeah, what was up with that? I was gonna talk about that. Why, they were the Phillies.
Yeah. It reminded me of the original Space Jam when the powers are taken away from the NBA players and they kind of forget how to play.
It's exactly what it was. The biggest thing was Corbin Carroll forgetting it was not 2 outs.
Yeah.
Because I was watching that and I was like, oh my God, JT, he's literally taking his time. And then he turned around. So like, JT, please, for the love of God, go. And he went and we scored and we ended up winning that game.
That too. They haven't been messing up the base running that much.
There's a shock.
That was a really I heard an interview with JT. He said, yeah, I wasn't sure at first, but then I realized it and I was like, I'm gonna tag just in case. And then he went and then he scored.
It's just there really needs to be a scientific study on the effects of June and this freaking team in Philadelphia. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, they just turned into like a really good team all of a sudden.
This is a completely different episode from 2 weeks ago at the beginning of June.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand it. And this literally happens every single time because I try to stay glass half full. I try to stay positive. I try to, be realistic and everything. But as soon as I start to lose my mind with this team and I start to get really mad about this team,
they come back.
They come back every time. But now my issue is Aaron Nola.
Yes, let's get into that.
I don't know what it is about this man, but like we had 2 outs, 2 strikes earlier. It was today.
Mm-hmm.
And we were up 3-1.
Yep.
And it was 2 outs, 2 strikes, 2 on. Nola hangs what I'm pretty sure was a curveball, and it just gets blasted out of the park.
Yes.
Not in the 4th inning, so there's that.
We won't say the type of vehicle again in the 4th inning.
I will not be buying that car ever in my life.
It's cursed.
It's cursed. But, like, he gave up that 3-run home run, and luckily we scored 2 more runs. But
we can't be doing this every Nola start.
Every single start. And it's not like it's just this one year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constant thing.
And this is his contract year. That's when you're supposed to be playing your butt off so that either your current team pays you a lot or your new team.
Yeah. Like you would think that he would do what Aaron Judge did.
Exactly.
Win MVP, hit the most home runs in the AL that wasn't on steroids. So, like, have that kind of season, please. Why aren't you having that season? It's just, It's frustrating because we know the pitcher Nola can be.
Exactly.
We know what he's capable of. And he's just severely underperforming. He was supposed to be the number 1 guy.
He was. And it's a shame, too, because even we've talked about, of course, Wheeler, Suarez, even Taijuan Walker is getting his stuff together.
Yeah.
And T-Mac always talks about how the starting pitchers are super competitive against one another. So if one of them has a great outing, the next day, that guy wants to do really well. And so it's just really disappointing we need a 5th starter, and we're talking about Aaron Nola, who was supposed to be our number 1 ace, just not performing.
Now, because of that, do we go for just a 5th starter? Or do we go after one of the big guys that's going to be on the trade market? Shane Bieber, Marcus Stroman are 2 guys that are possibly going to be traded at the deadline. Now, we don't need a bullpen, so we don't have to go after Aroldis Chapman, which I wouldn't be opposed to. But we need a starting pitcher, and I don't think we should go after just a 5th starter.
Mm-hmm.
I really think we should go after someone like Bieber or Stroman.
Yeah.
For the right price.
We'd be giving up prospects and other things. So I think that Dombrowski is probably thinking the same way you are.
Yeah, I mean, we hired Dombrowski when he left Boston and he came to us, all of the entire Boston fan base was like, he's going to win you a championship, but your farm system is going to be screwed.
Yeah.
And look at Boston now. They won the championship. They are screwed.
I know. It's scary.
But thankfully, we have somebody like Bryce Harper who has said countless times, I will not go to a team that is going to trade somebody. Like he said this on a Barstool interview, like the year he came to us. It was after he signed with us and everything. They were talking about him coming to Philadelphia and everything and why he signed with us. And he was like, I didn't want to go to a team that would trade somebody like, say, Spencer Howard, who at the time was, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, our number 1 prospect. definitely our number one pitching prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I don't want to trade somebody like Spencer Howard for a guy that's going to be basically a rental.
Yeah.
And Dombrowski's a guy who would do that. So we have Harper to kind of keep him level-headed, thankfully.
Good point.
And we have an owner that's going to spend. And Dombrowski is also known to spend.
Yes.
So we have these three buttheads going at each other, helping this team do well.
Yeah.
So people forget to realize that Dombrowski still has to fix some Clentech issues.
Yes. That's not going to all happen overnight.
Yeah, like we were not supposed to go to the World Series last year.
Mm-mm.
Like people forget that. Like this team was not supposed to go to the World Series.
Yeah.
We still have work to do with this team.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
And while they are technically contenders and are going to start making moves to contend because they made the World Series, and that's what you do when you make the World Series, they still have other things to work through because they weren't supposed to go to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. So they still have to work on other things to help us get back to that point. We're going to get back. And this year, maybe we don't make the World Series. That's not my pick either. I'm saying at least get to the NLDS, make the wild card, beat whoever's in the wild card. We're going to be a mismatch with them most likely anyway. And then get to the NLDS, and whatever happens after that, I'm chilling.
Right.
Because we were not supposed to get to the World Series. Gotta make that clear. As frustrating as it is, we were not supposed to be there. So it was a magical run, yes, and it was fun, and it was beautiful, and I will cherish it till I die. But there's still things that need to be worked on with this team. Another starting pitcher, apparently, is what we have to do right now. So
I saw someone on Twitter complaining about the fifth starter, and someone else rightfully replied, well, it was likely going to be Andrew Painter. So Dombrowski, obviously Dombrowski can't control injuries.
Yeah, that's another thing. It was supposed to be. We were questioning why we signed Taijuan Walker for so long because we had so many starting pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget what happened this season. So it's a lot. It's a lot to remember. Last year we had the lockout, and then we had a manager fired, and then we had the World Series all in 1 year.
Yeah.
So this year we had in spring training, we had the World Baseball Classic.
Uh-huh.
We had the Reese injury, which kills me still.
Same.
And we had a terrible start to the season. Now, June seems to be this team's, I don't know, this team is so weird. And so it's a lot. And remember, every single person was questioning why we signed Taijuan Walker for so long because of all the pitching depth that we had at starting pitcher. We were going to be a 6-man rotation at one point. And now Bailey Falter's in Clearwater. Andrew Painter is working out his elbow. We're still working through things. It's hard to remember, and it's hard to put it all into perspective, but it's the truth.
You're absolutely right. And as we talk about people, it's such a long season, and people tend to have recency bias and short-term memory. So it's good to bring these things up. There's so much time left in the season.
There is. And I'm not faulting everybody for forgetting it because I forget it too.
Yeah, same.
It's a lot. So I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just saying, remember what the position we were in was before the season. And you don't predict an ACL tear. You don't predict a 19-year-old pitcher, the number one pitching prospect in baseball, spraining his UCL You don't predict that. You don't predict faltering to go back to freaking Clearwater.
Oh my gosh.
Like, see, like these things just happen. It's not the fault of Dombrowski or Middleton or Topper. It's just crap that happens. And I mean, look at the Astros right now. They have so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can't predict that. Yordan Alvarez having an MVP season, literally out 4 to 8 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's a whole thing. Baseball is the weirdest sport.
It is weird. That's why I'm not ruling the Phillies out of the playoffs.
No, absolutely not the playoffs. This team loves warm weather, apparently. And so hopefully summers come in and we're getting closer to the super hot months. So, I mean, this team is looking like it's picking up for now. We'll see what I say next week.
Speaking of, who
Oh, yeah.
is your man of the week, sponsored by Manscaped?
My man of the week. It's either JT or Costi.
Yeah, we could, with honorable mention. I was between a bunch of different people.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna go Ranger Suarez just because last night's outing was just incredible. So
Yeah, it's so nice to see he's back to form.
yeah,
I was
And
getting worried for a second.
me too, but that's what this team needs to win. Honorable mention, Bryson Stott for heating up. His batting average is up, especially the past several games, and loving that beautiful swing, and he's really just getting it together.
Yeah, he is. And it's beautiful to see. And I mean, everybody knows he's my favorite player. Like, he has been my favorite player pretty much since he came back up from Lehigh Valley and started doing well. I mean, he's funny. Like, he's hilarious. And as somebody who used to play softball and t-ball and all that stuff, I couldn't really hit well because I was short and they couldn't find my batter's box, so I'd always walk. But I was good. I was good defensively, so I've always loved a player that can play defense. And Stott has been killing it at second base.
He has been
Absolutely killing it. Ignore the error that he had today. Ignore it. Shut up. He has played phenomenal defense. His switch from short to second was smooth. His arm, because he played shortstop, his arm is fantastic. He can fling the ball from second base to first for a double play like that. Like, that is why he's my favorite player. And seeing him do so well this early, plus he's homegrown.
Homegrown, the best.
That's the biggest thing. Like, I'm sure that's a huge reason why you love Rhys Hoskins.
Yes.
Like, the homegrown aspect of it is so underrated by a lot of people.
And why we're so disappointed with Nola.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people underrate the homegrown talent part, because a lot of homegrown talent, which is what the Dodgers have and why they are still always going to be competitive. And right now the Astros are somehow just good every year. And, the Braves, the freaking Braves, they're always going to be good. They all have homegrown talent. And what homegrown talent allows you to do, especially in key positions, early on, you have money to spend elsewhere on positions you need that you don't have depth of. So, and not only that aspect of it, but it says a lot about your organization when a homegrown player is doing this well.
Yes.
Like, you expect Bryce Harper, the 330 million 13-year guy, to do well. So what he's doing is not surprising. He's just him. Everybody knows that. We all love Bryce Harper. He's our guy. But when you have Bohm, Stott, Nola before this past couple years, Reese, and then you have players like Alvarado and Marsh who were not the best of players when they came here, and then we helped them. So it just says a lot about your organization when they do things like this.
Absolutely. We didn't even talk. It probably should be JT Realmuto as man of the week
Probably.
because he hit for the cycle.
That too. We didn't even talk about that. Like,
I know. I'm like, so much happened that
so much.
we didn't even talk about it yet.
JT heard your disrespect of not calling him the BCIB and raised you a freaking cycle. Like,
I think everyone, myself included, thought it would be Trey Turner.
yeah. Everybody thought it would be Trey, because that's the first thing they said was when we got him. The first question was, how many bases are you going to steal, especially with the larger bases? And the next one was, you might be the guy to break the cycle curse for the Phillies.
Ooh, since 2004. That was a long time.
I was 6.
I was 14. It's fine.
Yeah, you're old, so.
I am. It's fine.
So, I mean, JT was the best catcher in baseball when we traded for him. And hindsight's 2020, but that trade looks great.
Yes.
But it means a lot more when a homegrown talent is doing this well.
Agreed.
Like, it obviously doesn't change my love for a player like Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper, JT, Wheeler. Like, those are also my guys, but something about homegrown talent, man, it's just, I love it.
I love it too. And I feel like it's underrated.
It definitely is. But apparently Castellanos is underrated because he's not one of the top guys in the All-Star votes.
Yeah. Everyone just keep voting. You get like 4 votes a day. So
5.
okay. Oh, it's because when I hit the button, it was like you get 4 more. That's what I'm picking up. Yeah. He was in 9th in outfielders. I mean, I'm glad they released the voting like this because then we can see, and I know it helps certain players get more. So
my question is, why is Bryce Harper not leading in DH? Like, this dude came back early from Tommy John surgery, and you're not gonna vote for him. Just say you hate Philadelphia and Bryce Harper.
Seriously,
it'd be a lot easier.
I don't know. I think people are just slacking this season because of the slow start, but that doesn't matter. We still want them to go represent us.
Now, before these past few weeks where they started getting hot, the only player I was voting for was Bryce Harper and Castellanos. No other player deserved it. Well, and Bryce and Stott, but like, that's just bias in me.
Yes, it is.
Like, but every other vote, it wasn't a Philly. And I don't care if people get mad at that because, you know what, until June was injected into these guys' veins, like, they did not deserve it.
Yes.
They underperformed. There's no sugarcoating it. They did not perform. I love these hooligans, and, you know, I want them to succeed, and obviously, like, they're my guys, but you didn't play up to the standard that we hold.
which is a very high one, rightfully so.
I wouldn't even say it's too high of a standard for me. Just
Yeah, you're right.
just don't suck.
I think people who know us by now, we're not the ones that expect them to do
We don't,
amazing
yeah, we
every
don't
at
ask too
bat.
much. Yeah, we don't ask too much. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna hit 1,000 like for the whole season or like. We just ask you to perform at a decent level and win.
You can't hit 1,000, but also don't be like in the low 200s either.
Yeah, well, Schwarber's 170.
I know. T-Mac was saying like Forward made a comment like, I wish I was hitting 240 or something like.
It's unreal. This dude is so weird. He's the definition of boomer bust.
Although his OPS in June, they're saying is over 9. It's like 9 something because he's walking a lot more too. So he's getting there.
This team, I swear to God, can you name a weirder team?
No.
I didn't think so because I can't either. Wait,
But there are weirdos.
they are our weirdos, but I just simply ask for an explanation. Okay, here's the June stats for these absolute weirdos. God, like, just listen to this, all right? Yeah. Castellanos is batting .415.
Jeez.
With 2 stolen bases, only 11 strikeouts, 4 walks, 22 hits, in 53 at-bats. 8 runs, 3 home runs. Which we saw 2 of them.
We did.
We did.
Great.
I was extremely sick that day, but we saw 2 of them.
And I was in the bathroom when he hit the first one.
You were. I told you to stay there.
I know. I said, I'm going to stay in here.
Trey Turner is batting .308. Shout out, Turner. Oh, yeah. Castellanos' on-base percentage is .441. So, dude's getting on base.
Woo.
And he's slugging .679, and his OPS is 1,100.
Wow.
So, that was Castellanos.
Yeah.
Trey Turner is batting .308. His OBP is .379. He's slugging .500. His OPS is .879.
Okay.
He has 4 stolen bases, 12 strikeouts, 2 homers, 16 hits in 52 at bats. So
had a couple double steals against the Diamondbacks, which is a rare thing that brings me a lot of joy.
Too bad they don't have Schwarber, huh? Or JT.
Yeah. So
Schwarber in June is batting .216, 5 home runs.
We're recording on June 15th, by the way.
Yes. 5 home runs, .344 on-base percentage, .569 slugging, and his OPS is .913.
Yep.
We're gonna ignore Bryce Harper. That's a different story. We're just gonna go past him.
Okay.
So JT's batting .273 with 4 home runs, .319 OBP, .727 slugging, and 1,000 OPS. And last one is who's been hot this July or June is Stott. He's batting .349, has 1 home run and a double and 2 triples somehow. He's just hitting. .417 OBP, .535 slugging, .952 OPS. Like, something about June with these guys just makes no sense.
Was that updated for the home run today?
Has he hit it? Oh, no, it hasn't because he's hit 2 home runs.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's even better.
Yeah. Add a home run there. But
Yeah, great numbers.
That's the title of this episode, I guess. June fills.
Love it. And who we got coming up? Oakland.
Who was on a heater
Yeah.
this week. So that's great. It's great. It's just great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. After 3 wins in a row against Arizona, I am not feeling optimistic about at least game 1. But
Which is annoying because we should, because they are the worst team in baseball.
yeah. But a lot is happening in Oakland with the fans and
Vegas, which
Yeah.
Harper and Stott both vocally opposed, by the way. So they don't like it. Vegas doesn't like it. Oakland doesn't like it. Nobody likes it but the money-hungry people in charge.
exactly.
Simple as that. Before we end things, hopefully we take at least 2 of 3 in Oakland. That's my prediction. What do you think?
I agree.
You're thinking 2 or 3 too? All right. So hopefully we're correct or we get a sweep. That's only things I'm accepting from Oakland. I know we underperform in California, but this is Oakland. Come on.
Then comes the homestand.
The most annoying week possible is coming up with the 2 with
The 2
My-
least favorite teams
my 2. Well, I think
besides the Astros.
the Astros have to be number 1 at this point. But yeah, the 2 worst teams for us to play. So hopefully, I don't even know at this point
3 games against Atlanta and 3 against the Mets.
which one we'll be at.
Yes, the 24th. That's our tailgate. So exciting.
Hopefully you guys show up, please.
Yeah.
But we'll have to talk about that next week because we'll have an episode before that one comes out. So we got that. But yeah, hopefully you guys show up. It'll be a lot of fun in the K lot.
We've
11
been
to 3.
some fun special guests that we've been announcing. So more to come besides
Yeah.
us, obviously.
Yeah, we're announcing one more, but there's gonna be a lot of people there too. We have another one special guest that may or may not be there depending on how everything goes. So we got a lot going on. And hopefully this time next week we're not complaining again.
Yeah, it really, as always, it could go either way.
It really could. So hopefully by next week we're doing all right and we can party on Saturday like we're supposed to.
Woo!
All right, so that's the end of this week's episode. Everybody, thank you for listening. Hopefully next week we're not mad.
Come on, Phil.
Please. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.